Hi, welcome to the Two Piece Podcast, where two very different people compare and contrast their top fives on a variety of topics. I'm Steph, and today's topic is top 5 favorite appetizers. So our lists are very different, but also surprisingly similar. We're also going to take a trip through appetizer history. Thanks for joining us. Hi, welcome to the Two Piece Podcast. I'm Steph.
I'm Alex.
How are you today, Alex?
You know, I'm doing really well. It's a nice Saturday. We're recording a podcast on a Saturday, and it comes out on Saturday. We rarely do that.
Yeah, but it doesn't come out this Saturday.
No, it's not today.
Yeah,
You're not listening.
Don't freak everybody out.
No, but it's cool. It's like we get to experience the day that most people listen as we're recording. So it's like we're just it makes me feel closer to everybody listening.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, just something about it. And it's a nice summer day outside.
It is. I'm excited to talk about our topic today. What is it? Do you want to share what it is?
Yes, our topic is our top 5 favorite appetizers.
Yum. My stomach's growling right now.
Yeah, we're going to lunch after this, so this was probably a bad time to do it. Or maybe a good time. We'll be very descriptive of our foods.
Yeah, I think we'll be extra excited about it.
I was thinking about actually, first of all, this topic was suggested by Anonymous. This person wanted to remain anonymous. I'm not trying to be, cryptic here, but...
Are you not?
Well, I guess it is kind of cryptic.
Yeah, it is.
But anyway, this anonymous person suggested appetizers, and we appreciate that suggestion. This is a crowd-driven show, so if you have any suggestions to bring up, let us know. We'll give you the name shout-out. If you don't, just tell us you don't want that, and we'll say anonymous, too.
Yeah.
So please, just let us know, because we talk about all kinds of fun things here.
We aim to please.
We aim to please. Just like appetizers, they're pleasing. I was thinking about this right before we started. You and I were talking about it, and I thought, what should we talk about right before we get into our topics? And I thought, this might be a good story to tell. And it's the oysters story. You know what I'm talking about with the oysters.
Yeah, I do.
So I have a complicated
I'm well aware.
I know you are. I have a complicated relationship with oysters.
Do you know how my Nana, can I interrupt you really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
My Nana doesn't say I can't say it either.
You can't even say it.
But she says oysters.
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 Yeah.
There's no T. Oysters.
Well, my stepdad doesn't say popular. He says poplar.
Well, that's the name of a street.
It's like a tree.
Yeah,
well, you think of it as a tree. Yeah, it's like a poplar tree.
That's funny. Anyway.
Well, that's pretty popular.
That's pretty popular.
Shout out to Big Daddy.
Oh shoot, that gives me something else to tease him about.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's one of my favorite words he says. But anyway, that being said, oysters or oysters, however you want to say it. I have a complicated history with them because I love them, and I was in denial for a while. So I've had oysters a few times in my life, but then these last 2-3 years, my track record with them is literally getting sick 100% of the time I eat them.
Yeah.
Because I've had them 3 times in the last 3 years. Once a year, basically, is how I'm going to average it out. And every year, I get sick. First time, I had oysters. I was with a friend, and it was at this... I used to live next to an oyster house. And, I figured, okay, if you're going to have good oysters, you're going to go to the oyster house, right? I mean, that's what they're known for. Well, I went there. And then that was the worst one to date because it was coming out of all ends. It was just a really bad... It was like I had the flu.
That's a lot of information.
Well, I had to explain it. It was just like a bad flu. It just for an hour one night, then it was over. It was wild. But I was kind of in denial about it, so I went back a year later. It was a while.
You went again.
I went again, and I thought it's going to be fine this time. And I got sick again. It wasn't nearly as bad. And that was the one I was really in denial about because I also had catfish. So I thought maybe it was the catfish that did it. Because I had both. I had oysters and catfish.
Yeah.
A little bit of both. So then it was the catfish, Steph. It was the catfish. She was like, no, it's probably the oysters. If anything's going to get you sick, people get sick from oyster. That's normal. That's a common thing.
Yeah.
Well, flashback to just a couple weeks ago, I ordered oysters again at a different place.
Yeah, different place.
And this was the most minor, but within 8 hours, I had to go to the bathroom bad. And it was the oysters. I'm never going to have oysters again. I love them, but they make me sick every time.
I'm sorry.
Well, they say that there's like a time of the year that's best to get them, but I can't remember what that is.
I don't know.
Our friend Keelan, he used to know. There was like a rhyming thing you could do, but there's like the certain times of the year, I guess, where you're less likely to get them. I don't know. It's because of how maybe they're more freshly caught. I don't know how that works. Anyway, goodbye oysters. It's been a fun ride. It's been a hell of a ride.
I mean,
but
I guess
it's over.
you could still have them when you know you're going to be like near a bathroom at your house and just.
I bet it's not worth it though, because it's not worth it to go. Okay, I feel bad. I need to go exit the party.
Yeah, but if you like oysters, the taste of them enough, then it's like, well, it's fine.
If this were like cheese quesadillas, which is my comfort food, just cheese, right? I think we've talked about that on the podcast before. That I would always do that for. Go, you know what? I'm home. I'm gonna handle, because I love cheese quesadillas that much.
Yeah.
Or steak or something. But oysters, I like a lot.
But you don't love.
It's not worth
Okay.
puking and pooping.
Yeah.
So I'm out.
Okay.
See you, oysters.
To be clear, the topic today is the top 5 favorite appetizers.
Yeah, not least favorite.
so let's not confuse everybody.
To lighten the mood, yeah. But Steph, you also came with a little bit of we like to have a little history lesson or a little fun facts.
So just about appetizers and a little tiny bit of history, and yeah,
so
it'll be fun. We learn it a little bit.
Okay, about how appetizers came to be, perhaps.
Yeah, we will.
You're talking about it so nonchalantly, but it sounds very interesting to me.
I'm glad that it does. Well, you'll learn about it soon.
Okay.
Okay. Well, do you want to tell everybody where they could find us?
Oh, I guess we can throw that in there too, huh?
Yeah.
2-Piece Podcast or 2-Piece Pod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere you want.
You're not used to saying it because usually you ask me first.
Usually you do it, but you're leading, and I'm loving this. Believe it or not, I am. People wouldn't think so, but I do love it. Also, you can find us on YouTube. If you're listening there already, great. If you're listening there and you haven't subscribed, go subscribe, leave a comment. That's a great place to continue the conversation with us. If you want to explain your favorite appetizers, I would love to do that. If you do, we'll bring it up on the show and maybe give you another shout out. So, yeah, all over the place. Keep up with us and hang out with us.
Yes, please.
All right, per tradition, I don't know who goes first.
Oh my gosh, I was just about to say, I was thinking, should I say this? And I thought, no, because I don't want to, like, this joke is going too long. So I was going to say, though, don't you ask me one time in this episode.
So jokes are great in threes, and I think this is the third in a row.
This is not. It has been every episode.
It's the third in a row.
Okay, you go first. Your number 5 is first. Your Majesty.
Thank you. That's one you say all the time. You always call me Your Majesty, as if I'm demanding something from you.
As if.
As if. I probably should start.
I feel like you do that already. Okay, you go. What is your number 5?
I'm just selfish. What's wrong with that?
Oh,
okay.
You're not.
See,
only sometimes.
And then she'll turn around and, backhanded compliment. All right.
No, you're not. You're not. You're not. You're very kind and selfless.
We're just playing, hanging out. All right, number 5. So appetizers, when I was doing research, the first thing I did is I typed in America's most popular appetizers, right? And I didn't realize most people consider so when I thought appetizers initially, I thought restaurant appetizer specifically. You'd sit down at a restaurant, appetizers. But then I realized a lot of people define them also as like finger foods at parties. Like tray foods. Like those are also appetizers.
Those are hors d'oeuvres.
I don't know if it's Midwest or not, but we always call them finger foods. What we call them. Like, use your fingers, pick up something and eat it.
Yeah, well.
Same kind of idea. You can have fancy ones, cheap ones, whatever. So I don't know what's on your list, but because of that opening, which kind of still makes sense, those aren't the main meal. Those are things you can snack on before you have whatever meal it is.
Yeah.
I think 1 or 2 of those are kind of like that on my list, but most of them are like restaurant kind of appetizers.
Okay.
But I guess we all know what an appetizer is. It's just what you eat before.
Yep.
Okay. So my number 5 can be used in many applications. And it's so good. It's a classic. It's a staple. It's a mainstay. And it'll never leave my heart or my mouth or my stomach or my bottom. And that is... Actually, it will leave my bottom because
well, this is... Okay, go ahead.
A lot of bottom talk.
Yeah, there is. There is today.
Oh, goodness. My number 5 favorite appetizer is chips and salsa / chips and queso.
Oh.
Because that can be used in a lot of different ways, but
Can I butt in here?
Yeah.
And say my number 5 is also queso.
Just
queso. But so we could talk together about it maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine. I picked this one. I knew this was going to be on my list at the very beginning because I thought, okay, so what do I most commonly get? And I thought, well, I love Mexican food, love chips and salsa, chips and queso, and I also buy that on my own. At least I used to. I don't so much now, but remember that one time when I bought that salsa, this random one at Kroger once? And you loved it.
Yeah.
It's like a sweet corn salsa.
Oh, you never bought that again?
I need to buy that again.
I know it's been a year and a half. I don't ever I come over and I don't get any yummy food.
We'll come over more and you'll see more of it. All right.
I'm over here all the time.
Please. I'm asking you to.
I am. I'm here all the time.
I'm just kidding. All right. So, yeah, chips and salsa. I love it. Between queso and salsa.
Yeah,
really,
what would you pick?
I'm actually it's going to sound crazy because I love cheese, but probably if it's with chips, I'm going to prefer slightly salsa.
Really?
Because I love spicy and I love chunky. It's I love chunky salsa a lot.
Of course you do. I don't.
It's the opposite. So now my go-to big brand, if we're giving brand shout-outs, is probably Chi-Chi's. Chi-Chi's.
Mine's Pace.
Pace is good too.
I have memories of Pace with my grandma. She used to always have it, and after school, I'd have chips and salsa, and it always would be Pace.
Oh,
yeah.
You have a couple of stories about Pace. Got one with your mom too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Pace is really good too. Pretty much any spicy salsa for me. My mom, shout out to Mom, she makes this great homemade salsa, which is also gives you a kick in the butt.
I tried that, and it was spicy. I think I drank a lot of water that day, but it was really good.
Right. It's very good.
It was very yummy.
So shout out to Mom there.
My mom makes salsa too. She hasn't. Have you had hers? She was in a salsa making kick a couple years ago. But I think she hasn't made it in a little while.
Well, if she ever gets back into it, I'll be trying it because I'm sure it'll be delicious. Yeah, there's not much to say. I just love it. It's chips and salsa. It's great. What I love about it too, though, and the reason why it made my list is because it's in other applications. It'll be a snack sometimes at home. It's great for if you're it's Super Bowl party, you're gonna have chips and salsa. You're gonna just for all kinds of things. It's also very community style, right? Everyone can grab a chip, dip it in the thing. There's just a lot of different ways to enjoy it, which I love.
Yeah. So see, that's a negative for me though.
Right, but that's
because people double dip and everybody's dirty hands are in the chip bowl. It's a germ.
Most courteous people don't double dip.
You don't know. If nobody's looking, you don't know what they do.
I watch every time. So I don't know who you're hanging out with, but there's not a lot of double dippers unless if it's immediate family, sometimes we'll double dip. But other than that, people are I always do one bite or a dip, one bite, then I don't do it again. Also, you're ultra aware of things like that.
Yeah. But that's what I always feel germy about, about those types of finger foods at parties.
Well, that's just who you are.
It is.
We are. And that's okay. There's not much else to say. I have
a question about queso then.
Feel free.
For you. Would your favorite queso be like the melted cheese queso, like the white cheese, queso you get at a Mexican restaurant? Or would it be when we just went to J. Alexander's, we had that queso that had a little bit of meat in it?
I want just cheese, fresh melted white queso.
See, my favorite type is at J. Alexander's, where it's melted. It was white, but also orange. It was a mixture of that.
That's good.
And then there was just a little bit of meat in it, and I feel that adds some flavor.
There was some onion in all of that too.
Yeah,
and maybe that's why I'm saying no to that.
Maybe that's why, but it added to me. It just added a little bit of flavor, but also the melted just white cheese. Queso you get at Mexican restaurants is so yummy especially when it's warm, when it doesn't have that top layer on it yet, where it's cooled on the top. Yeah. And you stick a chip in, the first bite, it's so warm and just liquidy, and it's just so yummy.
Downside. Great reason for it to be a number 5 though is that it does get cool really fast. Yeah,
and then there's that top layer that you have to move with your chip, and it half the time it grosses me out kind of. So
You don't say.
I don't know why it grosses me out, but it does.
Yeah, I get that.
So anyway, but queso is my number 5 too. It's yummy. It's a really good comfort appetizer, or if it's cold outside and you want something warm.
Mm-hmm. It's so good.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah. I like it.
I guess it's your turn for a number 5.
Queso.
I guess I'm at number 4, but technically, does
It's
that
your
mean
turn.
I go again?
Yeah,
I
you
guess?
go. It's your turn. Go 4.
All right.
Number 4.
My number 4. You're gonna notice a theme. Well, maybe not. At least
is it cheese? Is that the theme?
Yeah. You can probably guess my number 4 if you thought about it, if it's cheese related. My number 4 is cheese fries. This is more of like a restaurant kind of appetizer. You don't really see this at like parties.
Yeah.
But a lot of restaurants do this. And there's a local place where I used to love that we used to go to. Their menus changed now. But at first, they had these incredible cheese fries. I mean, there was so much there that it was meant to be a meal, but only for one person. Usually it's, I think, meant for like 3 or 4 people to split it.
Yeah.
I love cheese fries, but ever since I was a kid, I did. I have memories of going to this restaurant with my dad when I was very young, and I'd always get the cheese fries. And it was a cheap restaurant in our hometown. I'm pretty sure it was just fries and a bunch of cheddar cheese melted on top. That's all it was.
Uh-huh.
But oh my gosh, it's so good. Fries and cheese. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Sorry, I got a little out of control there.
I'm glad you're so passionate about it.
But what I love about it, too, though, especially like with more recent ones I've had at these like trendy restaurants, is that it's not just cheese and fries. You know, they're adding, some of them add steak, sour cream, they add like bacon, they add
it's like nachos, so
chili,
fries.
they add all kinds of crazy stuff. Jalapenos, or as I used to say, jalapenos. So good. Really fills you up pretty quick, though. I remember this was during the Fat Alex days. I went to the restaurant I was just talking about with our friend Keelan, and I would. This is at a point in my life where I would eat too fast and eat too much, and then I'd feel sick. I would just wasn't paying attention. I'd just keep eating and eating and eating and eating. And him and I were there, and this is a huge plate of like, this is meant for like 2 or 3 people to split of cheese fries. And anyway, I ate the whole thing while I was talking to our friend within 10 minutes, 12 minutes. I don't know why this is the theme. Well, this isn't the same kind of thing, but like I had to excuse myself at this restaurant because I thought I might have to go vomit in the bathroom. I ate so much so fast.
Oh, you like those cheese fries?
That's how much I love them. I did not get sick, everybody. I'm sorry this seems to be a theme today, but I didn't, and that was a wake-up call for me to stop eating so fast. And I slowed down after that.
I'm glad that helped. That was helpful for you.
But God, I still want to just slam those things down.
But they're not even on the menu anymore, so.
Well, they are. Well, the different version is.
Yeah.
Not quite the same.
Yeah, I know.
Love cheese fries.
I know. Well,
What do you think?
how do you feel about tots, though? Would you like?
We recently had those at a restaurant in town.
Yep.
Called Memphis Mojo.
Yeah.
And it was, they were really good. I still prefer fries.
You do. See, I think typical, right? But I prefer tater tots.
Yeah.
But there was a place in, I think it's in West Virginia, when we would go visit Nana, or it might have been in Ohio, I don't know. But it's called Hillbilly Hot Dogs.
Okay.
And it's literally a little dinky restaurant inside of a school bus.
Interesting.
It's a school bus, and they've like emptied it out of like the chairs and stuff, and like put a little restaurant in it.
Well, that's cute.
Yeah. And it's called Hillbilly Hot Dog. And they have all these different kinds of hot dogs, but they have these. There were fries, and they had ranch, cheese, and bacon on them.
Oh, yeah.
And they were so freaking delicious.
That sounds good.
So good.
Also, hillbilly hot dogs, that sounds like an Ohio thing.
Yeah.
Very Ohio, trust me. The Ohioans out there will know.
Yeah.
That's very Ohio.
So, anyway, that was yummy. I like that too. I just, for me, that always, if I get that as an appetizer, it always fills me up very quickly. So it's like, but it's like, it's not an appetizer that like you can just stop eating easily.
This is kind of a cheat for me because I usually get this as a meal.
Right. That's like, I feel like if you're gonna, like, I would say let's get this if we're gonna just get a bunch of appetizers as the meal.
Which we do sometimes. But
yeah. But like, I wouldn't say let's get those ahead of our cheeseburgers, you know?
I like things in general. This is old habits, right? Old habits die hard, I guess. But I still just really want to go towards foods that make me feel full. Like dense foods. And not dessert, though. I know dessert can be very dense, but just more like just greasy, like if I'm not considering my health is what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why like the cheese and the fries, they're both so filled with junk that fills you up. For some reason, that's what I go towards for some reason. So for the same reason why you try not to have it so much is the same reason why I love it, basically.
Yeah, well,
so
makes sense.
It's good stuff, though.
Well, so my number 4 is another warm appetizer for when you're cold or it's cold outside.
Okay.
And it is miso soup.
Miso soup. Okay.
Yum. It's so good.
Go and explain what that is, because some people will not know what that is.
Yeah, they will. When you go to like...
You'd be surprised. Some people don't. Some people just go to like Panda Express.
Like a Japanese restaurant, right? If you go to somewhere that does like hibachi or sushi or whatever, you can get soup and you choose clear soup or miso soup. And clear soup is the one that has like the little fried onions in it. And it's yummy too. I know you're making a face, but it's good. And then the miso soup is the one that has chunks of tofu in it and seaweed.
It is good.
And anyway, it's delicious. I think it's one of my favorite kinds of soup, but I love it. I always get so excited because I love to get it before I eat sushi because it's just like it's warm and it makes your stomach feel warm and
it's
comfortable.
It's the opposite of what we just talked about. It's very light.
Yeah.
Which is nice too.
Yeah. It
doesn't feel like heavy. There's some heavy soups, but that feels like very light, which I love.
It just has a good flavor. So anyway, I like it.
It does have a good flavor. My first time having miso soup was with you.
Yeah.
Never had it before. The only soup I had before you that was like in that category, like in the Asian kind of cuisine soups, was like I've had egg drop soup before.
I love egg drop soup.
But I love that too. And I really love the one that we get here in town.
Yeah.
It's really good too.
At Royal Panda.
I love their soups.
So yummy.
I love their soups in general because just in general, I like how light they are, but the flavor's still so strong.
Yeah. Their hot and sour soup. I mean, I don't love it. I like egg drop, but everybody who has their hot and sour soup says it's like the best hot and sour soup ever. So,
but only one can have the best. Not everyone can have the best hot and sour soup.
Right. Royal Panda has it.
Right.
Yeah.
So shout out to Royal Panda.
Yeah.
If you're ever in the Memphis area, go to Royal Panda.
So yummy.
It is good. It is very good.
Okay, are you ready for some history?
History!
Okay.
I genuinely love history, so yes.
Okay. So this is from stonewoodgrill.com. So it's a restaurant in Dayton, Florida, and they had some really cool info on their website. So
okay.
All right. So the term appetizers appears to have been coined nearly simultaneously in England and America in the 1860s. So mainly to provide a global counterpart to the French hors d'oeuvres. So they were like, we have to have our own word for like this stuff. So a stylish supper in the 1890s may include both appetizers and hors d'oeuvres. So hors d'oeuvres are more like the finger foods.
So when I think hors d'oeuvres, maybe I'm misunderstanding the word. But what I always associate is it hors d'oeuvres?
Hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres. I associate that with more like fancier, like finger foods. It seems like a fancier word.
Because it's French. So
okay, I could be just association. Yeah.
So let's learn about it. So hors d'oeuvres is the French word for appetizers. Okay. Which you may recognize. So in contrast to appetizer, which simply refers to amping up one's hunger, hors d'oeuvres literally translates to outside the masterpiece, referring to the French belief that cuisine is a work of artistic expression.
That sounds like the French.
Yeah. An appetizer complements the main course and often comes as the first course of a multi-course meal. Appetizers are meant to increase the appetite in advance of the main dishes. As soon as the appetizers are served, guests eagerly anticipate the main course. Okay. So it's kind of, they're supposed to like get you super excited. And then I have a list too of like classifications of appetizers. So there's approximately, according to this source, approximately 7 kinds of appetizers. Some of which may be familiar with, while others may be interesting. So cocktails, those are considered an appetizer.
Really?
Yeah.
Those are drinks.
Well.
Okay, interesting.
Salads.
Yeah. Don't even think about salads.
Yeah. Hors d'oeuvres. So like more finger food type things can be appetizers. Relishes, soup, and chips and dip. And there's another one, canapé.
What's that?
I don't know what that is. So
what do you mean by relishes?
Like
things you put on things?
Yeah. Like I think that's referring to, when I read it, I was thinking kind of like a slaw or something like that. Like something.
Slaw.
Yeah.
All right.
Canapé is a type of hors d'oeuvre, so it's small. It's like on the cracker. Like where you have like your meats and cheeses and stuff on a cracker or a cucumber or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what canapé is.
Okay.
So let me see what. Relish is really it's like a
maybe
pickled. It's like a pickled product. So I guess it could just be a chopped up like mix of fruits and herbs and vegetables, and it just is served that way. Maybe that's just not common for us.
When I think relish, I immediately just go to like, maybe it's because I'm very American, but when I think of relish, I just think of either burgers or like hot dogs. Yeah,
but I don't know. I guess it is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We learned something new. I guess that's classified as an appetizer.
Interesting. Salads is a weird. I mean, it makes complete sense.
Is it weird to you?
No. Let me explain. It's not weird to me. It completely escaped my mind because I eat salads as meals. So like I forget.
Well, you can have like a side salad as an appetizer.
You're right, but I'm just saying it's an interesting thing about myself that I didn't even consider salads. Yeah, and I don't know why.
Well, I guess you see them more as a meal, not an appetizer.
And for the record, everybody, I mean, I get a lot of things on my salad, so it's not like I'm having a side salad as a meal. But I do side salads, though, so I just totally forgot about it.
Well, there you go.
Interesting.
All right, so that's it for now. More to come.
What's coming? What's next? Give us a teaser.
Next is more about the history and the progression of appetizers. This first part was more about like what they are and the common. You can say, you think appetizers and hors d'oeuvres are like exactly the same thing, and they're not. So it's just some interesting history there. But what's your number 3?
All right, my number 3. These make me sound like I'm just a slob who just likes nasty, greasy foods.
No, this is your favorite. This is hilarious to me. This is your all-time favorite. This is like...
I just think it's funny.
What is it?
You could predict all of these, I bet, honey.
Mini tacos.
I don't consider that... No, those are delicious, but I consider that like a frozen thing you throw in the oven.
Yeah, but those could be finger foods.
You're right.
If you threw a Super Bowl party.
Well, I didn't consider those, or else they would have been on my list.
Uh-huh.
So these are real appetizers that you'd get at a restaurant.
Sounds like I know you better than you know yourself.
Maybe. But my number 3 is fried pickles.
Oh, we got those at Memphis Mojo too.
I've gotten them numerous times in my life, and I've never been disappointed. A shout out to Texas Roadhouse. They have the best, maybe not the best fried pickles, but the best sauce you dip your fried pickles in.
Oh, really?
Incredible.
Huey's has good fried pickles next time we go.
They do. They're a little bit more pickly.
That's the best.
Yeah. But like that's the same reason why I don't like their onion rings. Because their onion rings are onion.
Yeah.
In bread, like breaded.
Yeah.
Like I like the cheap onion rings where like there's barely any onion.
Like the not real onion?
Like the not real ones, yeah. Because I just don't like onion. Anyway, fried pickles are delicious. I will never forget my first time experiencing them. I was probably like preteen age or like early teenage years. And I was at Texas Roadhouse. It was my first time having them. And I always was a roll kid. I just wanted, give me the rolls, which are also delicious, by the way. Yeah. Any sort of bread, right? But then they ordered the fried pickles, and I became a man that day. I love fried pickles. I love salty things in general. And when you just fry that crap up,
those are extra salty.
Yeah, that's why I love them so much. Like, you know, if you're eating something like that and your feet aren't swollen within the next 20 minutes, you're doing something wrong. So you got to get that sodium.
You don't have those cankles.
Right. So it's just really good. Anytime we've had them, they've been delicious. And I think it's a go-to. Like, when you bring up fried pickles, almost anybody's like, yeah, that sounds good. Like, if you're getting it with a bunch of other stuff. Like, no one's like, I don't like fried pickles.
My mom doesn't like fried pickles.
Well, she's the only one. Most
it's
people...
because she was pregnant with me and got sick on them.
Oh, it's been long enough. You should try them
No,
again.
she didn't want to.
It's crazy what your brain does because they're still delicious. She just,
She used to like them.
your brain tells you don't.
Yeah.
But they're so good.
They are good. I like fried pickles too. They're not usually my go-to. Like they wouldn't have made my list, but they are very yummy.
Yeah.
And I do like them a lot.
Mm. Any like shout outs to sauces or anything? Or
No.
No?
I kind of like fried pickles just themselves. I'm not super into, I love sauces, but with fried pickles, I just don't care for sauces with it.
You won't be surprised by this, and I bet you somebody's going to vomit in their mouth a little bit when I say this, but
Ew.
I like them left over cold.
Ew, gross.
The bread is soft now.
Yuck. Ooh, that's gross.
But the flavor is packed in even more because
Ew.
it's been sitting in the fridge, like just.
Well, like the pickle juice
the
is
word
like
is, but-
soaked into the breading,
Oh.
probably.
So yeah, that next day, it's like pickle but with extra pickle and a little bit of bread on there.
Okay,
So
well,
good.
whatever makes you happy.
It does make me happy.
That's
thank you.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. Well,
That's my number 3.
So my number 3, it's funny because mine is also fried.
What is it? Fried.
You wanna guess?
Fried.
You know it.
Can't be fried sushi because sushi's like a meal.
Sushi can be an appetizer.
Is it fried sushi?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say, wait a second. Fried egg rolls or fried egg rolls are good.
Okay. It's
I don't know. Just go.
it's fried calamari.
Oh, fried calamari is good.
Yeah, we get that like every time it's on the menu because I love it so much.
It's good.
Yeah. So that's my number 3.
You're probably thinking of bonefish.
I don't know. I'm thinking of bonefish. I'm thinking of coastal fish and other places. I don't know. There's lots of places where I've had it.
See, it's good, but I feel like there's not enough of it.
There's plenty of it.
Mm-mm.
What do you mean there's not enough of it?
No, I hold back when I'm eating with you because I want to make sure you enjoy it. But like, they're so little, and the pieces are little, and like I just feel like I need twice the amount.
Well, it's an appetizer. It's not a meal.
I know. This goes back to how we psychologically see this stuff. It's not enough. That's how I feel. It is good though.
Okay.
Also salty.
Yes. And I love, with these, I love the sauces. Usually there's like a sweet and spicy type sauce. So yummy.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it grosses, you have your calamari that are like the little rings, and those are my favorite. And sometimes it's like the little squids, like the actual things. Mm-hmm. And that sometimes grosses me out a little bit.
Naturally.
But I have to think about it and not think about, or I have to not think about it. I have to not think that it's like a little squid. But it's yummy. Always. All the ways that they cook it. It's delicious.
It is really good. I don't think I had calamari, but I don't think I've ever had fried calamari before you.
Oh, before me?
Mm-hmm. Which is weird. I thought it'd be the opposite. But yeah. But it was really good.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever even heard of fried calamari. And I mean, everything can be fried. So like, I'm not surprised it exists.
Yeah.
But, no, it is very, very good.
It is yummy. So that's my number 3.
Why don't we stick with my number 3? We'll stick with bonefish. Because guess what my number 2 is?
I know it, but I'll let you say it. I know exactly what it is.
My number 2, and I'll explain it because I think it's specifically a bonefish thing. It's called Bang Bang Shrimp.
Yum.
All right? Bang Bang Shrimp is delicious. Delish us. I don't know what the sauce is, but basically...
Maybe we should go to Bonefish for lunch.
I mean, we could. Yeah. So, but what is it? So they cook the shrimp in
fried shrimp.
It's fried shrimp in the sauce.
Well, it's fried shrimp, and then they toss it in like a sweet, spicy, creamy sauce.
It is so good.
Yeah.
You just have to taste it. You have to be there. You have to be there to really experience it. But
I think their presentation adds to, because it's like in this little like bowl dish type thing, and they like lay it on this lettuce.
Yeah.
And then they sprinkle like little green onions on the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the presentation's great. I don't care. I want to eat it.
That sounds so yummy.
We're just hungry though.
We might need to go there.
Steph, like, apples on top of mustard sound good to you when you're hungry enough. I promise you, there's been some weird foods that have been brought up before. And you're like, that sounds good, when you'd never eat it.
Yes, I would.
Mustard on an apple?
I just said ew to that. I didn't say that sounded good. A corn dog, mustard on a corn dog sounds good. Or a Sonic chili cheese tots.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
If it's not Chick-fil-A, it's Sonic for her when it comes to fast food. But yeah, it's so good. Once again, another introduction. Because I never went to Bonefish. I've heard of it before.
You have to eat them with chopsticks, too. So thank goodness that I taught you how to use chopsticks on the first date. When
I eat them on my own, like leftovers, I'm just using a fork. Who cares?
Well, yeah.
But
when you're at the restaurant.
No, what I usually do is get that. Sometimes we'll get two. So Steph can have one as like an appetizer style, and then I'll get one for me, like just to eat.
Yeah.
We've done that before.
Well, yeah.
Once again, another meal. I don't make these appetizers. Yeah. They're just presented as appetizers.
Well, like the Bang Bang Shrimp, like at Bonefish, is on the menu as an appetizer.
Yes. That's why it's...
I have ordered it. Like I've gotten a Caesar salad as an appetizer and then gotten Bang Bang Shrimp as a meal. Like I've done that too.
It's some good stuff.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Bonefishes are not exclusive to here. So if you have a Bonefish in your area, I highly recommend looking at Bang Bang Shrimp. Really, really good. I love shrimp in general. Like, I love shrimp in general, no matter how it's presented. I love just straight shrimp. I like it cold, right? Cold with, like, cocktail sauce. That's really good. I love it, like,
that's okay.
Cooked and prepared. My least favorite way to get it is, like, fried and breaded. That's my least favorite way.
Shrimp?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Because I want to taste the shrimp and not the bread with the shrimp.
Mm.
So I love jumbo shrimp. It's all good. Can't go wrong with shrimp.
I think my favorite way to eat shrimp is either in noodles, like chow mein, or it's going to be in Bang Bang Shrimp in the sauce.
For me, the number one way for shrimp specifically is cold, like fresh shrimp with cocktail sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, the opposite, basically.
Yeah. But that's okay.
I like things cold and not cooked, if possible. And it doesn't make me sick.
Well, you know the shrimp are cooked still.
I know.
Okay. So make sure you knew.
Yeah, they're still like, yes, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm just saying as a whole with my food, I like it to either be cold or not cooked is all I was saying.
Okay. I was like, just to make sure. Because when I was little, I used to think that they weren't cooked.
Like cold shrimp?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think that when I was little, before I knew better, right? But I used to think that they weren't cooked and it was like raw shrimp.
No.
But no, it's not.
Yum.
Yeah. Okay,
we are so hungry.
I know we are. Tell me your number 2.
You just did it. I just told you my number 2. You just did it.
Was Bang Bang Shrimp your number 2? I did it. My bad.
Finally, it happened. She did it.
Because I got so excited talking about Bang Bang Shrimp, I felt like it was on my list.
It's time for your 2.
My number 2.
And then we'll talk more about
history.
Appetizers.
Yeah, Appetizers. I like that.
Appetizers.
My number 2 are the shrimp rolls from Royal Panda.
Shrimp. I'm sure I've had those. I'm sure they're
You
good.
have, but then I've eaten them all. So you probably had one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so good.
Can you guys tell that she likes Asian? Like her kind of go-to genre of food is like Asian cuisine.
It's definitely Asian food.
Yeah.
My mom used to joke with me and said, you'll marry somebody Asian because they can cook that food for you all the time.
You basically married the opposite.
She told me that the other day. She said, but you're not. That's not exact. That's not what you're doing.
That's hilarious.
But I love Asian food. But so shrimp rolls are so good. So Royal Panda, they have the best food ever. But it's like little. Okay, so if you just think about a spring roll, right? What like the crispy spring rolls look like, right? And then you think about something that's like 3 times smaller. That's like long and skinny. So it's a little roll, and it looks like it. The way that they wrap it, it looks like at the ends, it like one of the candies that has the plastic that sticks out at both ends,
Mm-hmm.
But it's fried like whatever they use to wrap it in, right? And then in the middle, you have a long shrimp, you have an onion piece, you have a carrot, and I think it might be like a I don't know if it's bok choy or what celery. I don't know what it is. Something else in there that's green. It's that consistency. It might be bok choy or something. And they fry it. And then they give you this like really sweet like red sauce you can dip it in. And it has little flakes of like red pepper in it. Oh my gosh. It's so yummy. And you order an appetizer and there's like 12 of them in there. And like I literally eat the whole thing with my chicken and broccoli and sweet and sour chicken. Like I eat the whole thing.
She eats with her emotions more than her body.
All of them.
That's what she does.
I don't know how that's emotions, but
You're just like, I love it. I love it so much. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I can't tell you how much I love it. They're so good.
What I mean by that is that you will eat, like, I'm not saying you overindulge, but like you'll know that you're full, but you'll still eat something just because you love it so much.
Oh, yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
Even though you know that you're done.
Heck yes.
Especially with desserts, too. That's a big one for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, my number 2 is shrimp rolls.
Shrimp rolls are
You
very
have
good.
had them.
Yeah, I know I have. Yeah. I've had all kinds of rolls. Egg roll, spring roll, shrimp rolls. They're all delicious. I don't know if I have a favorite, personally. I just love it, period. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Not much to say on that one.
Shrimp, weird shrimp comparison, though. We both like shrimp in our number 2s.
Yeah. We both had fried in our number 3, and we both had shrimp in our number 2s.
Have you had cheese in anything yet? I forgot what you said.
Queso.
Queso, yeah.
We had that. So our number 4s were different. Cheese fries and miso soup. So those were pretty different.
What it really is, it looks like, is like we have similarities, but how we like it prepared is different.
It's different.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. All right. Well, actually, I guess that really is all I have to say. So if you want to take us through time a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So this is from restaurantingthroughhistory.com.
Different place. Okay.
Yeah. So until the 1960s and 1970s, the food items that were most commonly offered as beginnings to restaurant dinners were prepared simply and usually served cold. So, and those would have included fresh vegetables, so celery, radishes, artichoke hearts, and onions, fresh fruits, grapefruit and melons, and pickled and preserved vegetables, which would be where the relishes would come in, right? That would be olives, beets, peppers, or cucumber pickles. Preserved fruit combinations such as chutney and chow chow, juices of tomato, grapefruit, pineapple, sauerkraut, and clams, fresh seafoods, oysters, shrimps, lobster, scallops, and crab, and cured, smoked, pickled, deviled, marinated meats and seafoods. So that's kind of, in the 1960s and 1970s, that's kind of the selection you had for like appetizers, and they were mostly served cold.
So was this roughly when appetizers were becoming popularized?
No, that's like 100 years later. So I couldn't find anything in between like the 1860s and the 1960s. So
that's a huge gap, Steph.
I know. You're telling me, but I guess it just was, I don't know, just the cold foods. Like it probably stayed the same. Like it stayed the same.
Okay, I guess so.
I guess.
There's no other choice.
I couldn't find anything. Okay. So then heavier, more substantial, and often heated appetizers seem to have been introduced post-World War II, mainly by restaurants designed as like Polynesian, Cantonese, and Mexican or Latin. Mm-hmm. And they started doing like heated. So see, that's what I'm saying is I think for that 100-year gap, I think it really was just the same stuff as appetizers, but it was mostly, they were seen as mostly like cold things like that, right? And then after World War II, it turned into like heavier, more heated stuff.
Yeah.
By the 1980s, many restaurants featured appetizers that would now be likely called small plates, or like cheese fries, or items for grazing. Two or three were substantial enough to make up a dinner in themselves. So that's like when we go to dinner and we order 3 appetizers and that's all we eat.
Yeah.
Like it's like that, right? It changed to that. If grazing was a form of light eating that could not be said of the appetizers introduced in the 1970s and 80s by casual dinner house chains. Now the idea of an appetizer is deep fried and loaded with fat. The menus of leading casual diner chains overflowed with starters such as deep fried breaded cheese, loaded potato skins, cheese fries, and loaded nachos. So
it's another example of the progression of unhealthiness in America.
right, yeah.
Now, granted, I know what's on my list, people. Okay,
Well, this is favorite. This isn't like all you eat ever.
Right.
This is just your favorite.
I'm part of the problem, but but that makes sense. The timeline checks out.
Yeah.
You know, because after World War II, guess what invention was made? The microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was before. I think it was after. I think it was like the 50s, right?
I don't know the history of the microwave offhand.
Let's find out really
I
quick.
apologize for that, but I don't have that information stored in my brain.
Microwave invented. Let's find out. 1945. So that's
Okay.
pretty much like when did this World War II end?
Was it 44?
It was. I know. It was right around that
It
time.
was like 44, 45, I thought, right? I don't want to sound stupid. I don't know.
Either way, we're right around that time frame there. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. That checks out. It just gets greasier and greasier and fattier over time.
Yeah, World War II ended in 1945.
Okay.
So it was invented during the end of
Right.
World War II.
And then popularized way later. So that makes complete sense. That's cool.
Yeah.
The progression, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a ton of info, but it's kind of interesting to think about how it changed and
Yeah.
how we got to where we are with like the heavy, cheesy foods.
I am betting you this isn't your fault by any means, but I'm betting you there are progressions in that first 100 years, 1860s to 1960s.
I mean,
because
probably cultural progressions.
Because
Like,
I know that meals changed in that 100 years. I only know that because I watch historical videos about like how people used to prepare food,
yeah.
like in the late 1800s, and from that to like 1880 to 1930, it changed a lot.
Yeah,
So I
I'm
bet
sure
you
it
finger
did.
foods changed and stuff too. But either way,
I'm sure it did, but I chose to focus on.
that's all right. Yeah, I was just saying. I'm curious. I might have to go. I encourage everyone else too.
Go look it up and
Go
see.
look it up.
Yeah.
Is it time for my number one?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was me. So my number one, guess what?
What?
We're leaving the fried. We're going back to that time when people were doing cold foods.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What's your number
So
one?
this was upon doing my research, and I realized, okay, so this can also be party foods, hors d'oeuvres, finger foods, whatever you want to call it. And for me, this is by far my number one. As most of you probably know, because I've alluded to it quite a few times, I'm from the Midwest, and this is a Midwest dish, right? I didn't know that until I moved to the South, but then I learned. So any Midwesterners out there will know what I'm talking about. My number one of all time is pickle roll-ups.
Oh.
I love pickle roll-ups. You've had them since.
Yes, I have.
I first encountered them because of my mother making them. Basically, if you don't know what they are, it is cut up pickles, and they're surrounded by like little circular pickle chips, basically. Fresh pickles.
So you take a tortilla and you put cut up pickles, right?
No
Isn't
tortilla.
it a tortilla and
No
you roll
tortilla.
it?
Never been
No,
tortilla.
it's not tortilla?
It's ham, cream cheese, and pickles.
Oh.
So basically, you take ham, layer on some thick cream cheese, put a pickle in the middle, wrap it up, and then you cut it. And then you eat those. So it's like a pickle in the middle, surrounded by cream cheese, surrounded by it like a ham, like by ham.
Oh.
It's a weird combo, but it is so good. It was one of my go-to meals during like my early 20s / college years. Meal. So I just make enough for me just to eat. Pickles, cream cheese, and ham. And
Wow.
I would just cut a bunch up and just eat that up. Oh, so good. I'm sure it'd be good like if you like fried it in the right way too.
Ew. Yes, it probably
But I've never
would.
figured out the best way to do that. But,
It'd be like, because there's fried pickles, there's like fried like cheese,
Mhm.
and then ham. Oh, yeah, that would be really good. You should try
Let's
that.
figure that out.
You should play around with it and see if you can.
I could serve that with my ultra unhealthy pizza bagels.
Yeah.
We could mix that all up. But either way, pickle roll-ups are so good. There's other names for them if you look them up. Most people say they're pickle roll-ups, though. And like if you look at it and you see it, and odds are if you're from the area I'm from, that region of the country, you probably know what they are because they're a very common finger food. It's so good. So good.
When you first told me about it, I thought that was something you just made, like your family had just made up and you just had it.
It's a thing.
No.
It's
Not a thing here.
It's a good thing. No, it's not. But I've never made them for you, but I think you went to a family thing of mine and we had them.
Your mom made them.
Yeah.
For
like Christmas or
Christmas,
something.
I think. Yeah.
No, I don't remember them usually as a Christmas food. I think they only came back because I requested them to come back because we used to have them growing up. I remember them being more like a summer cookout sort of food.
Okay.
Like, or just a summer food
Probably
in general.
because they're cold.
Yeah.
So it's probably nice in the summer.
A lot of pickle representation today.
Yeah.
There's good stuff, though.
Yeah. All right. My number one
Mm-hmm.
is gyoza.
You have to remind me what that is.
They're like for fried dumplings.
Is there anything that's not Asian on your list?
Queso.
Queso. Mexican and then four
fried
Asian.
calamari.
Or fried calamari. Okay, so you're right. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Stop being so judgy. Gyoza is my number one. They're like fried dumplings. And then it has a
Those are good.
yummy sauce with it. And I mean, I don't know. I think it could be pork or chicken in there, depending on where you go. And they're so good. When I was in college, when I was living in the dorm, there was like a particular brand that I really liked. And I had my little, like, this was like the only time I felt like a chef. Because I'm not very good at cooking. But I had the pot, and you boil them first. You put them, they're like frozen gyoza or whatever, and you put them in a pot, and you boil them till they're soft. And then you get your skillet, and you put them on the skillet in like some like olive oil or whatever, and then you turn them, and you brown them, and you whatever, and so they're perfect. And I would do that. I would eat those all the time and make them for myself. It's so good.
Perfect. Nothing better.
Perfect.
It's good. The texture's good. Texture's huge with those.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are so hungry right now.
I know.
We have nothing to say but everything to eat.
Yeah, everything sounds good.
Yeah, those are really good. I don't have much to say about these.
You like them. I mean, but you don't love them, I don't think. Because like if I want them when we get sushi, like you'll eat one or two, but you're not like.
Here's the difference. I actually really like them. You just are obsessed with them.
I'm not obsessed.
Oh, please.
Well, they are my number one. So if I am obsessed, who cares?
That's what I mean. Like, I'm not judging you for it. I'm just saying, like, you're much more passionate about them than I am. That's all.
Oh, so you let me eat them? Is that what you're saying?
I'm like, I'd like one or two. They're great. Like, one or two is fine if they're great.
But you just said a minute ago that, what did you say there wasn't enough of? The calamari. You're like, it's so good, but there's not enough of it.
Right. I like that more than that.
Oh, okay.
Silly Billy.
Well, you're contradicting yourself.
No, I'm not. You're just misunderstanding me. Listen, everybody, we just talked about...
hungry.
We're hungry. We talked about our favorite appetizers. This was fun. How are we doing on time? Just curious. Wow, we're clocking in kind of quick today. That's okay. No big deal. I mean, how much can you talk about appetizers, right?
Yeah.
Come on. We talked about the history, which is cool. A lot of fun. Once again, we're going to take this moment, though, to ask you, what are your favorite appetizers? Tell us. Are you familiar with the pickle roll-ups? Tell us. Do you like Asian cuisine as much as Steph does? Tell us.
You know, because we like to talk to each other, but like we also like to engage with other people that like we know are listening. Because we're not. I mean, we're doing this just for ourselves, but also to share the info with people.
Yeah,
and like we want to hear your opinions because that's important.
Yes, it is important. So continue the conversation. That means a lot. But I also want to say this too. Like, it would mean a lot to us if you did spread the word about the show. There's something in the show we think, kind of for anybody. You know, it's fun to chat and talk about our topics every week, but it's also fun to take a trip through history and learn something. So there's a little bit that everybody can, I think, take from this. And on a similar note, because we always ask people to like rate the show if you're listening on like Spotify or Apple. Shout out to you, whoever you may be. There's a handful of people both on Spotify and Apple now who have given us a few ratings.
Yay!
So thank you for rating the show. That helps it grow. If you haven't yet, even if you're not a person who really does the rating, like I don't care. One time, 5 stars, it really does go a long way. Or a share or something.
Well, or 3 stars if you think we're a 3-star
Don't
podcast.
do 3 stars. Do 5 stars. Do what we used to do in sales. In sales, because we would get like incentives in if we got good reviews on like our service selling somebody, whatever. And I'd always say, this is a lie. But like I would say like it's super weighted. So like It's really bad on us if it's like a 4 or above or 4 or below. Like it's weighted really poorly. So if you had like at least a really good experience, maybe not the best, but really good, still give it a 5 because it's going to look like it's really bad if it's a 4 or below. They had to say that stuff.
Oh.
Isn't that crappy?
Yeah.
It's like it's a complete lie. Anyway, give us a 5. It's really weighted bad, everyone. So you need to give us a 5. No, but any rating does help. Continuing in the conversations with us, that does go a long way. But for now, I think we're going to pick our next topic.
Yeah.
Steph.
Ready?
I need you to give me the best drum roll in the world.
All right. You have our hat ready?
Hat is ready.
Okay.
Yep. Our next episode will be Top 5 Guilty Pleasures.
Oh.
Oh my God.
This is going to be interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is all for now. Spread the word, subscribe, follow, rate, comment, talk to us. Give us your topics, please. Just tell us what you want us to talk about.
Oh my.
This is the Two Piece Podcast. Steph, close us out.
Thank you so much for listening. We had so much fun with you today, and we are so excited to go eat.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.